Okay, we've got lesson 1.3. Lesson 1.3 is going to be dealing with rate of change and slope. Should have 3 videos for this one unless I get a little too long-winded. But we're going to talk about here initially finding the rate of change for linear, nonlinear relationships. Primarily, we're going to focus on linear, but there will be some nonlinear. We're going to talk about finding the slope using a slope formula. And we're also going to talk about finding our slope based on a graph of a line that we are looking at. Okay, so first video, we're going to go ahead and get started right in with rate of change, slope. What do you guys think of when I say rate of change or if I say slope? Pause the video, jot down all the things you guys think of when I say rate of change and slope. Okay, hopefully you guys got some ideas going as far as rate of change and slope goes. If you couldn't get any down, maybe pause it after I give you a couple, and then maybe that'll kind of jog your memory on some stuff going on. A lot of them, when I see slope, a lot of people will remember that it's a relationship where it's talking about the rise over run. So maybe rise over run would look familiar to you guys. Slope, M. The M might kind of jog some memory for you guys. Some people in the past when I've done this, they've given me the equation y equals mx plus b. And they've said that that m there represents our slope. Okay, there is a slope formula. M equals, and remember rise, so up and down, we do y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Okay, that all deals with slope there as well. Hopefully some of that looks familiar to you guys. Some others that I've heard is positive slope goes up and negative slope, so negative goes down. That was one that the kid said last year, I think. Rate of change. Sometimes people see rate of change, and that really doesn't tell them anything. One thing that I want you guys to know is rate of change is the exact same thing as slope. They are the same thing. Rate of change and slope are the same thing. So if you ever hear somebody asking you for rate of change, they're asking you for the slope. Okay? If you guys have any others that you think of, feel free. Make sure you share them at the beginning of class when we start kind of reviewing through this stuff. Okay? So now that we have that, we've kind of jogged our memory a little bit. The first thing, and I think this is kind of one of the more basic things that you guys have been asked to do, is somebody's going to ask you to find the slope of the line that passes through negative 1, 4 and 1, negative 2. Okay? So we need to find the slope of the line that passes through negative 1, 4 and 1, negative 2. This is a perfect example of where we need to learn or use our slope formula. So real quick, jot this down. Okay? There's not many formulas that you guys need to know as of yet. Okay? This is probably the first formula that you guys need to make sure that you know. Okay? M equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. When you guys solve this, the first thing you need to do, okay, you've got 2 points. You need to decide which is point 1 and point 2. It does not matter which is which. Okay, it does not matter which is which. For me, I'm going to say that this is point 1, and I'm going to say that this is point 2. Why did I pick it that way? Because that came first, the other one came second. Okay, but you can definitely switch it around. You're still going to end up getting the same answer. Okay, so Now that I have identified which is point 1 and which is point 2, I now know that this is my x value of the first point, my y value of the first point. This is my x value of my second point, my y value of my second point. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead, and all we're going to do is plug these values in. I've got m equals y sub 2, which is negative 2, minus y sub 1, and y sub 1 is 4, over my x sub 2, which is 1, minus my my x sub 1, and my x sub 1 is negative 1. Okay? Now all we need to do is simplify. What's negative 2 minus 4? Well, negative 2 minus 4 gives me a negative 6. Okay? 1 minus negative 1. A lot of you guys with Mrs. Ernett probably remember the 2 negatives here. make a big plus sign. So 1 minus negative 1 is really just a 1 plus 1, which gives me 2. Okay? Negative 6 over 2 would not be our final answer. We can definitely simplify that. Okay? Use your calculator if you're unsure of how to do that. But negative 6 over 2, that's really just negative 6 divided by 2. So negative 6 divided by 2 gives me negative 3. And that's the slope of my line. Slope of my line is negative 3. Okay? Next, we've got another example. Find the slope of the line that passes through 9, negative 3, and 2, 7. Okay? Go ahead and pause the video. Okay? Try this one on your own. Pause the video. Try this one on your own. I'm giving you guys the formula here. Okay, that's the formula we need to use. Go ahead and pause it. Okay? Hopefully you guys have tried this on your own. Doesn't matter which one you pick. Again, I'm going to pick that as my second point, pick that as my first, just because they're in that order. But it really does not matter. Okay, so I'm going to go m equals y sub 2, which y sub 2 would be 7, minus x sub 1, or sorry, y sub 1, which would be negative 3, over my x sub 2 is 2, minus my x sub 1, which is 9. Okay, go ahead and simplify. Whoops. Go ahead and simplify. 2 negatives make a positive. 7 plus 3 gives me 10. Okay, 2 minus 9 gives me a negative 7. Again, I need to simplify that. 10 sevenths doesn't reduce, but what you can do to simplify it is pull that negative out in front. And negative 10 sevenths is my slope. Okay, so not too bad with that. Hopefully that looks pretty familiar with you guys. I did want to cover 2 special types of slope. Okay, positive slope we referred to went up. Negative slopes went down. There are, however, 2 other types of slopes, and they involve special lines. So for this one here, we've got 5, negative 1, and 5, 3. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and plug these in. So it'll be 3 minus negative 1, because I got y sub 2 minus y sub 1. And then I'm going to do 5 minus 5. So 2 negatives. That gives me 4 over 0. Okay. If you guys try to do 4 over 0 in your calculator, it should pop up with an error symbol. And that is because we cannot divide by 0. That is not allowed. So our slope for this is not, it is not 4 over 0. A lot of you guys will circle 4 over 0. That is wrong. The slope for this problem is undefined. Okay, the slope is undefined. This right here is an example of a vertical line. Okay, if I graph these points, 5 over, up 3, 5 over, down 1, these 2 points make a vertical line, and all vertical lines have an undefined slope. All vertical lines have an undefined slope. Next example over here, this is our last case, m equals, okay, I'm going to do my y's on top, 2 minus 2 over negative 3 minus 4. 2 minus 2 is 0 over negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7. Okay, if you guys plug that in your calculator, you can do 0 divided by negative 7. That is allowed. Okay, some of you guys will get to that spot, circle it, and say that's your answer. That is wrong. Okay, what is 0 divided by 7? 0 divided by 7 is 0. Okay, 0 would be our answer for that. That is an example of a line that has no slope. What does a line that have no slope look like, or a line with 0 slope? Well, I'd have a point at negative 3, 2, and I'd have a point at 4, 2. So lines that have 0 slope are your horizontal lines. Okay? 0 slope is a horizontal line. Undefined slope is a vertical line. If the 0 is on the bottom, it's undefined. If the 0 is on the top, it's a 0. Okay? And you can always plug that in your calculator to figure out which that is if you don't remember off the top of your head.